It's so good to see you again. In case you weren't with me last week, I will make just a passing reference to my new apparel here, namely that I'm wearing this sling because of a broken bone in my shoulder, and thus you won't wonder anymore, if you've wondered at all, why I'm dressed in this different kind of garb. And let me move on from that to the matters that are of my interest today and that I hope will be of interest to you. You may possibly recall that a couple of weeks ago I said how excited I was at the prospect of reading the Bible through again this coming year. I do so now every second or third year, beginning with Genesis and working my way steadily through a few chapters every day, right straight through, so that I'll finish the Bible again in a year. And I'm using a different translation this year, which gives me a chance to do some new underlining. It's a good thing, to do that. You discover then some passages that hadn't struck you before, and they do now. I am therefore, at this point, in the book of Genesis, right back there at the beginning. I was struck the other day by a line or two in the 6th chapter of Genesis, when the story of the human race and its relationship with Almighty God was at its beginnings, and noting particularly then the way humans were beginning at times to build, so shall we say, a life of their own, and the way at the same time that a few were developing a saintly relationship with God. This is in Genesis chapter 6, this interesting little summary of the state of affairs with our human history. Listen to it. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. These were the mighty men of old, the men of renown. And then there's nothing more said about them. There wasn't very much said in any event. It's a practically anonymous list. It says simply that there were some giants on the earth in those days, some great people, and that these were the mighty men of old, men of renown, but nothing more is said, and we never hear of them again. I don't know exactly what the writer of Genesis has in mind in that brief summary statement, but I have a feeling that more is to be understood by reading between the lines than in reading the lines themselves. That is, that having told us that these were mighty men, he then doesn't bother to mention their names and doesn't tell us anything that they did, but they were renowned in their time. I say this to you because, on the one hand, you and I live in a world today where we make our personalities, our heroes, our headline performers overnight, and we dispose of them overnight. We have a system for it now. We have paid people to build up someone's reputation, public relations firms whose business it is to get their clients' names in public places, to get their clients placed on boards and agencies and organizations so they will have public prominence, and then to see that their names are mentioned in the field in which they have intended prominence. And after a while, of course, we discover in many instances they don't matter to anybody at all. They haven't really accomplished that much. They have been made out of fluff and paper, and they're gone. I wonder if it hasn't always been so in some measure or another, that a great many of the people who become men or women of renown don't really have that much qualification. And when the story ends, there isn't a lot to be said. I've preached a lot of funeral sermons in my day, and I discovered in the course of those hundreds and hundreds of funeral messages that only a few things make someone memorable after they've passed on, and that the thing that matters most to most people after we've died is the act of kindness we performed, the goodness we did, the happy memory they have of the character we demonstrated. These are the things that last in the memory of human beings. More important, these are the things under the grace of God that go down in the book of God for eternity. That's what I'm thinking about today as I remember from the book of Genesis, mighty men of renown, and we don't even know who they were. Their public relations apparatus for that prehistoric world broke down, and they're forgotten, and who cares? God cares what we do with our lives. God is the one, therefore, whom we should be seeking to please. That's what's on my mind today, and I thank you for the chance to talk it over with you.